All right, so what we're looking for here is the ability to create a spooky keychain. One of the key points here is that we've got a hole that is very close to the edge. We want to be able to fit a key ring through it. We want to make sure that the edges are not so thin that they'll snap off, and they're on your keychain, so they're going to get some damage done to them. All right, so I'm in Autodesk 123D Design, and I'm going to go straight over top. And if you look here, we've got everything in millimeters. So we've got everything, every square is 25 millimeters by 25 millimeters. So that's something to keep in mind. We want to make sure that our keychain is not too small, yet we also don't want it to be too big. And the way that I created the ghost that you saw previously was by choosing a spline. Now what the spline allows me to do, it allows me to create curved edges, and it's a matter of knowing what happens to that curve as it's going around. And for the sake of what we're doing here, I'm going to be creating a ghost that is between 50 and 75 millimeters tall. If I go ahead and click on my first point, and what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to estimate where my curves are going to happen. So we can go here and here, and notice that I've got an axis of symmetry. Now this 25 millimeter line here, I'm using, and I've made a mistake. So take a look. I should have been at this point. I was up a little bit too tall. So let me go back. And let's try this again. So we'll go here, and it'll be 3 squares over. And there we go. Now, it's a matter of giving it that curvature that we want down at the bottom. And there are a few different ways that we can do this, but what I'm going to do is give it that draping effect. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So there we go. So I've got my ghost. Pretty boring ghost, but a ghost nonetheless. And I can do the same thing with the spline. I can add in some arms. And I would know that that needs to be duplicated. All right, I want to do the same thing that I did with this arm here over on the other side. So go ahead and drop into there and up and over, there and there. So there we go. So now I've got a ghost with arms. Next thing the ghost needs, definitely needs some eyes. And we'll make these 5 millimeters. And 5 millimeters here. And we want this to be a happy ghost. So we're going to give our ghost a nice happy face there. And the next thing that we want is we're going to make him super happy. And to do that, we're going to put an arc in there. So we have our full-on ghost, and now it's a matter of bringing him to life. To do that, now we don't want to bring it up too much because it's just going to get really thick. So what I did in mine was made it 3 millimeters for each of the pieces. Let me make sure that that was 3 millimeters. I hit enter, and so what I'll do is I'll go around to each of the pieces that I want to be extruded and enter in 3 millimeters. And now I can delete the old stuff, and this is my ghost. Pretty spooky. I can move him around. Ooh. But that'll end up messing with things. So the next thing that I can do is, and this is the last thing that I'll do, is I'm going to add my initials. My initials are JS. And I'll change it so that it's in a little bit different font. We want it to be bold, we want it to be big. There we go, and let's move it over a little bit. We'll do that, and then move the text. Not quite 5 millimeters. We'll take 2. And that's pretty good. Next thing that we'll do is we're going to take and extrude. So right now, if you can tell, the text is sitting right on top. And what I've done is I've extruded it down. And what that should do is cut it out. So we have a JS ghost. Pretty cool stuff, and it's a great way to get involved with some of the basics of 3D printing. From here you can print it out and put it onto a keychain, be able to give it out to family, friends, or have it for yourself. Hopefully this tutorial helps, and have a happy Halloween.